I don't think anyone is surprised that this thing eventually ended up at my place. And we talked about earlier that I was planning on trading this thing for the Mini I had, but I got downvoted by my viewers that we shouldn't trade for this thing, and that I should sell the Mini instead. So that's what inevitably happened. But then a few days, the owner of the Mustang contacted me and basically said, how much do you offer for it? I will drive it home to your place. And since I bought something else I'm gonna pick up this Wednesday in 2 days, I was not really in the mood of buying the Mustang. It just felt a little bit too much to handle right now. So I would say I lowballed him, and I offered him $1,000 for it, and included with the Mustang was also that engine over there that we're gonna talk about. And I didn't think he was gonna take it, but he did. So I was like, oh crap, now I got a Mustang. So this was yesterday, and he said I'll be by in a few hours basically. So in a few hours later we had a Mustang, and we were $1,000 short. So or shorter anyway. So we have the Mustang now, and before I show you, I just want to show you the engine real quick. It's nothing special. It's not a Ford engine. It's a Chevy 305. Hopefully it turns over and we can start it, maybe put it in something, or we can sell it and get some money back for the Mustang. I think I can get about $500 for that thing. So we could sell it and be $500 into the Mustang. So we'll see what happens. But anyway, about this Mustang. I don't know much about it. It's a 65 Mustang. What you see in front of us right now is what we have for it. I don't have any front parts or anything like that. And it is completely gutted. Someone has starting to do some rust repairs. They've started riveting pieces into the wheel tub over there. And here on the firewall, we can see that they have started doing a really terrible repair. And it is really rusty. The whole front frame here is completely loose, and he actually sent me a picture, or when it arrived also, when he loaded it on the trailer, the front suspension just folded over. But when I picked it up with the forklift and put it down, it sort of retained itself. So I guess it got a bit of a hope when it arrived here, so it would stand on its own wheels again. So it should be braced a little bit here in the front end to hopefully not have it fold over on itself again. But I'm not really sure what the future is going to bring of this thing. And it's a big if it should be saved, or if we should do something else with it. And the thing is, this thing has a license plate here on the rear. And with how the Swedish license plate works, if we assume that this is the correct plate, it should be, then this license plate number has been with this Mustang for all of its life. But as we call it here, it has fallen out of registration. That could happen if someone dies, and you have to pay a fee every year to keep it in the registration. It's like $6 or $7 a year, and I pay it. You pay it once a year for every vehicle you own, despite if it's in traffic or if it has been sitting for 40 years. It doesn't matter. And sometimes when people die, they leave the country, they go underground or whatever, they eventually fall out of registration because the fee isn't paid. So that has happened to this thing. And the guy I bought it from, he said that he had this thing for 20 years and it had fallen out of registration even before that. But there is a bit of hope of getting it back into registration again. But the thing is, the only thing we have is a license plate, because I don't know Mustangs, but I've done a bit of a quick search, and the fender well here that is supposed to be here, I think the VIN number is supposed to be stamped somewhere around here, but obviously we don't have that. And I'm not sure if they're supposed to be stamped anywhere else. If anyone knows, feel free to share it. But also there's supposed to be a tag here on the door, which unfortunately also is gone. So the only thing that tells us that this thing ever lived here in Sweden is the license plate. But If it is the correct plates, which we hope, then everything could be solved. So since we have the license plate, we have a archive. It's called the, I'm not sure if I can translate it, but it's a big archive, and it's a national archive for all of Sweden, and they have all, if this thing was registered in Sweden before 1994, they have everything that ever happened paperwork wise to this vehicle. So I have made an order to get all of the paperwork, copies of all the paperwork, to tied to this plate number or the license plates. And if they can find it and everything is correct, I will get a copy of the last known registration to this vehicle. And then I have to order a specific approved copy, or however I'm going to describe it. But if I can manage to get a piece of paper, I can do an origin control, as we call it here in Sweden. Every vehicle that is not registered and wants to be registered have to do an origin control. And I did the same thing on the Chevelle here. And when you import something from the US, you send in the title, the toll papers, and a receipt that you bought it, or a bill of sale. And in this case, that's not really the same thing, but if I can get that last known registration or the paperwork with the approved copy or whatever, and also I can supply a receipt of, or a bill of sale of how I acquired it from the person, we might get a approved origin control on this vehicle. And if we do that, then this thing is ready to be registered back into Sweden again. We're not going to be able to get the same license plates because those are tied to another vehicle today, like a 2012 Kia or something. So the plate in itself is basically worthless, besides that we had something to go on while we could do all of this paperwork, or get it started, since that's the only thing telling us that this is what it is. So hopefully we can make that origin control, because that will basically triple the value of this thing. And as I said, I paid $1,000 for it, and I would say, I mean, if someone needed a Mustang roof, the roof alone is worth $1,000. And I mean, we have the engine that's worth $500 or something like that. So I would definitely think it was worth the purchase. And also, my biggest Achilles heel is when people tell me that they will drive the crap home to me, because I don't know why, but it's just the best feeling of just having this stuff delivered to you instead of having to drive. He lived about 1.5 hours away from me, so 1.5 back and forth, 3 hours loading, forth, talking crap. There's a 5-hour project in picking this up, and now I didn't have to do that, so that's fantastic. So best case scenario, we get that approved origin control, and with that, all of a sudden this thing is worth saving. Again, it is a 65 Mustang, and you can do something with it. Today it is just a piece of metal, basically a paperweight. You can't do anything with it, except we could do it into a drag race car or a drift car or whatever, but it could never be registered, insured, and driven on the road. So having that origin control is a big deal for this thing, because then all of a sudden you could basically save it. But if we play with the idea that we do not get this origin control, then what could we do with it? Then either it could be junk. I mean, it's basically, as I said, it's basically a paperweight. We could cut it in half and do like a wall hanger, like with my Dart over there. Maybe not. I'm not a Mustang person. I don't want a Mustang on my wall, but we could do something like that. We could cut off the back end and do some other sort of decoration with it, make it into a sofa or something like that. I don't know, but as I said, there's not much you can do. The other thing you can do is basically, if we wanted to do a body swap with it, cut out all the floor, take the body and put it on something else. And I'm thinking back and forth what that could be. We could put it on a Volvo chassis, but the rear wheel drive Volvo chassis are getting out of hand price wise. They start at like $1,500, and then it's a super boring chassis with the NA engine and as I said, nothing fun. But every time I think about body swaps, I eventually end up on BMWs, because there is so much value for what you get. I mean, we could find a newer Mustang, maybe a Fox body or something even newer, but that's kind of pricey and out of my price range definitely. But I've been looking a lot at E46s, because I need an E46 for the Galaxy, which is on an E46 chassis. And I mean, I can find a 320i, 323i for like under $1,000, and then we get a straight 6 with a 5-speed and a chassis which has endless possibilities of aftermarket parts, and put this thing on it. I'm not sure that's gonna happen. We'll see. As I said, there's a big difference if you get that origin control or not for the future of this thing. And I'm not going to do anything to it right now. I'm just going to put it to the side. As I said, I wasn't really planning on buying more junk right now, but it kind of just happened, I guess. So we have it, it's here. We're not going to do anything to it here today, and I'm gonna do this into a separate video on just the Mustang, because I am currently working in the garage on the Chevelle, and I feel I want to keep this video separate. But yeah, give me some ideas about the Mustang. Should we do a body swap? Should we wait for the origin control? I am going to wait for it. I'm not sure how long that's gonna take. I have to wait for the paperwork, then we can do the origin control. So it's gonna be a long period of time before anything happens. But yeah, you can share your ideas if you have any good ones, what we could do with it. But speaking of this and trading for the Mini and so on, as I said, I sold the Mini, and we have this sort of trade up challenge that I've been doing a little bit, and I am gonna go ahead and count the money from the Mini into the swap trade up from the money that we got from the Nova. So I'm just gonna do a quick go through of the money we have into our next build, and then I can end this video and I can continue working on Chevelle. So we're gonna go through here just a bit quick about our trade up, or what we have for our next purchase in our endeavors to hopefully be able to buy a 1970 through 1974 Dodge Challenger, which is my dream car. So hopefully we can get that there pretty soon, and hopefully we can buy something pretty soon that we can do another flip with, do some improvements to, and something that I can really buy just for that, not like the Mini that we're shoehorning into this, but I feel it's pretty fair. So if you're not familiar with when I go through stuff like this, the prices I have here right now is in Swedish kronor, but if we do like this, it's basically dollars. The dollar to Swedish kronor is pretty close to 10 kronors per dollar. It's like, I'm not sure right now, maybe it's like 960 or something like that. But it's close enough that we can just do like this, and you will probably understand a lot better. So we have about $2,650 over from the Nova, and that is pure profit after the purchase and selling and everything. But that was a really good deal. I got it for $1,000, and it was in a condition where we could do a lot without spending a lot of money and make it into something that someone wanted to pay for. So yeah, that's pure profit. Then we bought the Mini for $700. We bought some used parts for about $118. I bought some new parts for about $80, and I gotta say that's a bit of an estimate, because I, for the love of me, can't find the email from the first order I made on Autodoc, but it was not over $50. I know that. Then I bought the new radiator hose, which we never put on, but I still have it. It got here too late. The guy that bought it picked it up, and I haven't heard from him. So it's definitely not over 80 bucks. We bought a new fuel pump at the parts store, 30 bucks, just the generic fuel pump. And that brought our total to about now $928. And we sold it for $1,500, which netted us a profit of $575.50. So I gotta say, that's not the best deal in the world compared to all the work we did, but also I did not buy the Mini for this purpose. I bought it because I thought it was something fun. We could test it and get it out of our system, and in the end we actually made some money. After all of those morons I was handling there, I thought I was gonna sell this at a zero profit, but eventually it turned out pretty good. So yeah, with that, adding the Mini, we are at a budget of $325.5. And as I said, this is pure profit. We have nothing into this. This is just money we have in our pocket from flipping the vehicles. And as I would like to do, just trade to trade, but Sweden is too small of a country to do this in, so it's really hard to trade in that sense. So we have to sell some vehicles. I hope that we can do a straight up trade also, with maybe some money in between or something like that, but that's where we're at. So hopefully we can find something soon for like a maximum of 2,500 bucks, so we have 700 bucks left to do some improvements to the vehicle, and then maybe we can sell that for 4 or 5 grand or something. So we'll see whatever we find in the end, and hopefully in a not too distant future we could buy a Dodge Challenger. I was actually on Marketplace and I set my location to the US, and then I jump around in the US and I search for 1970 Dodge Challenger, and there is actually a real basket case over in Tennessee, I think, for $785 or whatever the price was. And if we could buy that, and if we could buy something like 1,500 bucks, then we don't need a lot more, but it's gonna cost like 1,500 bucks for shipping, and then there's gonna be taxes and stuff like that. So by the minimum, I think we need about 5 grand to be able to buy something in the US for 1,500, and that's unfortunately the reality. But also, if you bought something for 5 grand plus some taxes, obviously the taxes raises with what you buy, but it's easy to go up a few steps because the shipping is the same, that doesn't matter, and the transportation within the US obviously is the same, either if it's a basket case or some better vehicle. So sometimes it's better to buy a vehicle for 5 grand instead of 1,500 bucks, if you know what I mean. But we'll see where we end up in the end. So yeah, we'll see what the next trade up will be, but it's not the Mustang. The Mustang is completely different. That's out of this deal. That's just something I bought, and we'll see what path we will take, because the paperwork is gonna make that go in completely different forks on the path. So we'll see. But anyway, that will be all here for this video. I'm gonna continue working on the Chevelle, and you will actually get another video here today. So I hope you enjoyed that, but thanks for watching.